So by and large, there is a good acceptance on, there is lot of uncertainties business faces, and we are facing all these uncertainties because of, as you said, economic and socio-economic or political factors, and largely also because of technological disruptions, right? So we are going through a lot of changes that we are aware of it, and as someone, I also take care of corporate relations and placement for our institute, and it's my job to understand what is the plan of corporates in terms of hiring, right? So earlier we used to go and check this once in 3 months. Now I am made to check every week, right? Still you have the same plan of hiring or not, right? So every week they keep changing, and they keep saying that we might come, we may not come, this is the number, this may not be the number. And at the end of the day, they come on campus, they make some offer, then again the uncertainty continues. Will they onboard them? If they onboard them, when they will onboard? So this uncertainty is, I think, hitting across all the business. But of course, yes, 3 years back when we tripped into these uncertainties, we were worried. But now we have our own method of planning ourselves and looking forward for such uncertainties, and we started handling it. So basis is your own business, you also would have learned something, right? How to handle these type of contingencies, right? So could you share those details, how your business has changed over a period of time, where you are able to, where your business is capable enough to handle this contingency? How you have changed?
Let me start. Like the contingency plan basically based on the foresightness of the leader. As we know that in factory we are having the BCP, business continuity plan. After the disruption of the COVID, we have learned in so many sectors where it was not the contingency plan, how we have to adapt with that contingency plan. We have adapted ourselves, accumulate with the technology, virtual Zooms, meetings like that. And in our, I belong from the finance sector, banking sector, and being in the public sector, we come with like we are having the budget. Budget means targets given by the government to the management. And in between, every quarter, every month, there is some other side of government launch some different products. It gets that they have to be market and to reach to the last person of the society, like different kinds of the schemes the government launch, and we are having the responsibility to spread and to reach the people. Like earlier it was like Mudra loan, and like solar scheme, like Ujjwala Yojana, so many different kind of, it's Atal Pension Yojana and Jan Dhan account. These are the some kind of, despite we are having our own plans, on our targets, we have daily basis, we are changing our style, and as we every quarter we are having different kind of the things, and we have to accumulate, adjust resilience to comply with the already setting the set budget, as well as the complying with the government whatever the new products being launched, because they start reviewing on weekly or fortnightly on those new products. So we have to adjust with that, also perform, so have to show performance on that also, because we can't say that we are having such kind of such targets earlier. We are not, we have to comply, because we are just, they are the stakeholder, they are the master. So we have to adjust with the plans, we have to accumulate, and whatever the requirements, we have to accommodate and adjust.
So you are inbuilding a flexibility into the plan, right?
So to add on here, my mentor taught me a very interesting quote, that man ka ho to acha, man ka na ho to aur acha. So we've been practicing it very often because we have scaled from 0 to 100 to 500 to 800 people, moved from a startup to an MSME, and now even bigger. So we have had a lot of situations where we have to be very dynamic, like sir mentioned, that having that innovative mindset. So until and unless you take that as an opportunity, you will not evolve. And if you will not evolve, you will be structurally unemployed at some point in your life. So being dynamic, being resilient, being transparent also plays a very important role here, because you tell your people or you tell your markets that, okay, this is what I'm doing. It may lead to a failure, but this is what my plan B is, and I'm going to work. So having that trust, resilience, innovative mindset, and an acceptance that yes, failure might happen, but we need to get over it and, have a better plan.
Just to add something to that, by the way, that's Harivansh Rai Bachchan's quote, "Man ka ho to acha, man ka na ho to aur bhi acha." But just on that, so, I think just to answer your question and alluding to what she also mentioned, if there is a survivor in plan or instinct, I think there is only one way, one direction that it will go, which is down. Always constantly being in the growth mindset and a growth plan will take you out of every situation, and so you're able to adapt, be resilient, innovate, everything. And I think whenever businesses have adopted a survivor mindset, that is when they've gone down.
I have a very good example of that from the United, exactly what you said. I think from the leadership perspective, you just said you should be able to forecast, right? You're not able to forecast, but good leaders are able to read the patterns. Exactly what you said. So what's going to happen next? What the competitors will do and what will we do? So for example, for United Airlines, during COVID times, exactly that happened. Most of the airlines went into the survivor mode. Said, let's park our planes, let's close our leases, give them back. We took a decision, our CEO took a decision that we will go and order more planes. We will not retire our wide bodies. He saw the patterns. COVID will end at some point. The revenge travel will start happening. We would need the planes. Today, if you order a plane from Boeing, it might take years. If we have the planes, we will be the first one. And the result is, today we are the number one biggest airline in the world in terms of planes, while a lot of other airlines are waiting for the deliveries to happen. And I think that went in our favor. Exactly what you said, not the survival mode, but the growth mode, where you could see the patterns happening.
Sometimes your business strategy seems absolutely right at that point in time, but then in the long term, the outcome may be drastically different. And I'll take a specific example again to the semiconductor industry. So there are two names, and very, very renowned names, Intel and Qualcomm. Now, let's say if I go 15, 20 years back, you would literally see a laptop that says Intel inside. How did Intel manage to do that? That's the only company in the entire semiconductor space who could force the laptop manufacturers, OEMs, to say, unless you say Intel inside, you're not going to get our processor. Because they had the dominance. The other example is Qualcomm. What is the strategic difference between Intel and Qualcomm? Intel built these large fabrications, fabs, the semiconductor fabs. And to my friend's answer, the fabs also come with a nanometer capacity. But then, as the technology changes, those fabs becomes obsolete. Whereas Qualcomm decided to go fabless. And they said, we will always have our fabrication outsourced. You fast forward 20 years, today Qualcomm is looking to buy Intel. So, when you go back 20 years, was the decision to build the fab correct, not correct? Was the decision to go fabless correct, not correct? Probably at that point in time, there were two directions.
Being assetless, asset light helps?
I'm saying that's the strategy, because while being asset light helps, but tomorrow if your supplier doesn't supply to you, your business comes down. So I'm saying sometimes you take a decision with a vision, but in future, because of the technology disruption, because when Intel was setting those $1 billion fabs, they didn't realize that 10 years down the line, this technology is going to be obsolete, and they'll have to reinvest billions of dollars. To your point, that's a technology disruption.
I think I've got a similar example here, at least in our industry. So if you see voice AI, right? Last year, voice AI was about $500 million worth, and we didn't pay much attention to it. But frankly, the way it transformed this year itself, forced us to go into a partnership rather than wait for our own capability development and then offering it to our customers. And what that did was that actually helped us beat competition. So to his point, that what decisions you take, and it's not about trying to do everything yourself. It's also the ecosystem you bring onto your within your own organization that can help you really achieve results faster than your competition can.
And I think contingency also brings in to everyone's point, and I'm observing a pattern here. So I think a lot of partnership and the ecosystem collaboration comes in place for to mitigate with the contingency, because you can't do everything on your own, and that's where I think we have been doing from the technology side a lot of build versus buy kind of a strategic decision that we have to take every day. I know that in case I have to build it myself, there is an X amount of efforts that would put in, so much of hiring has to be done, which would take time to join, and there are a lot of operational ownership around it. Whereas somebody else who has solved it already, looking for partnerships, I would rather look at that option seriously now because of contingency planning. Because A, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. B, I want to be, deliverable. I want to have some ROIs being shown onto my executive board who trust that this problem will be solved with the help of technology. So from that perspective, I think ecosystem collaboration is becoming really key here. Nobody can solve it alone, and everybody has to come together, and that's how it fuels our working ways and processes. And to your point, I think you were talking about hiring plans. We don't know what kind of roles we are offering to the already hired persons who are already there working in our teams. Today they are data analysts, tomorrow they are data scientists, third day they are AI scientists, and then they are prompters, they are modelers. I mean, every week, every month, their roles are changing. Leave apart the hiring plan. We are not even able to streamline the existing workforce job roles. That's the kind of contingencies we are talking about in workflows planning. We are not able to project how many people would be required because it is becoming obsolete for us. The lean ways of working, we used to see that lean sigma and all those used to be there, take some time to get implemented and adopted. Today it's like fastest GTM that we have seen from the workflows planning point of view, and that's giving us really hard time to plan from the contingency.
See, one data point I'll give you on the IT sector. For the first time in the history of the IT sector, there are two companies. The market cap of both these companies is less than 1 times this current year's revenue. Used to be 6 times, 5 times. And can you name these companies? One is an Indian, the other is a French company. Cognizant and Capgemini. It's unbelievable for an IT company which is spitting cash. The market cap, both of these are listed, is less than 1 times of this year's projected revenue. So hiring may be actually a bad word. Now you are hiring for a specific skill. You're not hiring a person. Till the time the skill he has is or she has is required by you, it's fine. And that's how laws are changing. Correct. This fixed term employment is all thanks to the realization that you can't have a person with you forever. You need a skill, you hire a person, the skill is not required, well, that person is not required, period.
And I think to add to this point, I think IT services sectors are now realizing this. Today itself, or yesterday, HCL Tech announced investment of $150 million in Sarvam AI. Sarvam AI is our sovereign AI layer, where you have a lot of indigenous models being worked upon, and Indic languages are being talked about. So they realize that we can't build this on our own, and we have to sell AI as a service. We have to collaborate. So IT services and collaboration, I think this is gonna be a key in contingency plan.